Many in the XRP community are being fooled, but if we guys focus here for the next 15 to 20 minutes, you will have a clear understanding of what happened back in 2017 when the price skyrocketed. And it reached 1400x back in 2017, and this analyst shows that can be really small compared to what's coming ahead. And I actually kind of support this claim, and I'll show you why I support this claim. As you know, if I don't have any documents to support my claim, I won't be presenting it to the scientific investor family here. But today I have a lot of documents and data to show you guys what the fact is. But these documents points me towards something big in 2020 and something even bigger than that in next 3 to 4 years. So stay tuned and focused, because what you would be gaining from next 15 to 20 minutes may actually anchor you down and save you from jumping this rocket, which will be taking off soon. And igniting this one is actually delayed. Now, I agree on that point, but these actually shows you that it's not going to be delayed much further. 2020 can be the year of digital assets. Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where we discuss crypto and science behind investing regularly. Michael actually sent me this tweet, and I was actually reading through it and it made me thinking, and then I found these. So these information which kind of forecast and supports what Brad Carlinghout stated back, saying 2020 will be the year of digital assets, and it is also showing Ripple's claim towards the market maturity by 2025. Now that's also on schedule. As we move forward, you will actually understand that. To get the background, you will actually have to listen to this video, not the entire video, but some area which will actually give you a bit more perspective.
And to work online, and just how much technology has advanced to enable us to do that. But as anyone who's had to make a payment from one country to another will have noticed, the same is not true at all for cross-border payments. It can take up to 10 days for a payment to get through. It can cost 10 times as much as it would for a domestic payment. And for businesses, 6 out of 10 cross-border payments from one business to another require some form of manual intervention. So would really make a difference. And that's why the G20 group of countries has made improving cross-border payment systems a priority, and why the Committee on Payments and Market Infrastructures, a committee of the major central banks, has today produced a report just setting out how it needs to be done and how we need to tackle all of the angles of this complex problem. And the report sets out a program of 19 building blocks to build a better system. These cover securing a joint commitment to a new improved cross-border payment system from both the public and the private sectors, coordinating better on our regulation and standards, improving our technology, improving harmonization of data, and actually also exploring some of the exciting new technologies like central bank digital currencies, global stablecoin, new payment platforms, which, while not yet possible, may well give us other ways to improve the system.
So it is directly from a trusted source, and we will investigate through these pain points which was highlighted here. And it's not actually only about those pain points, it's actually about the solution for these pain points. Now these are actually highlighted in different valid and reputable documents which I'm going to present today. So as he told in that video, you can actually see G20 is actually coming together. So the finance ministers of G20 is actually coming together to keep or commit to a roadmap in next October. So it is coming, and the main points highlighted was slow, expensive, and the transparency issue. Now if you actually go to the tweet of Bank of International Settlement, you can actually see this. So they actually look at public-private sector commitment, a kind of partnership, and challenges, frictions, focus areas. You can see low speed, and it's accompanied by high cost, and then limited transparency, and then at the bottom you can see legacy technology platform. So what are the kind of solution for this? Long transaction chains, so that's the correspondent banking network. So what is the solution for that? New payment infrastructure and arrangements. Now the funding costs, now the Nostro, Vostro and all other related stuff which actually increases the fee for a payment. So what is the solution for that? A new payment infrastructure and arrangement. Now, don't take it directly from this particular image. You actually have a lot more of explanation to go through. Now, this particular document, Global Payments 2020 Transformation and Convergence, is from BNY Mellon, and it's actually used by the research support of these companies, say Morgate and Opus. Now, when you actually go through this now, yes, it's a bit more lengthy one, but when you actually go through this, you'll understand one thing: the world of payments in 2020 will look very unlike it does today, and the market transformation has already begun. Competitive landscape will be redefined by the entry of non-traditional providers, the evolution of new solutions provided by financial institutions, and development of strategic alliances that traditional sector boundaries. Besides transformation, there will also be major convergence. Now, keeping that in mind, you actually have to understand end state post 2020 will be largely unrecognizable. So what you have as of now in the payment system will be different. We envision it might have integrated global settlement and clearing system and platform agnostic channels that allow maximum client access, flexibility and convenience. Why they are doing this? Because young tech savvy generation like millennials, Gen Z and all, they need this thing. Instead of looking at that, they are actually coming into this. So something is going to happen in this year. Now we are already in 2020. We have actually kind of passed the halfway. So it's not that long. It's just 6 months more to see what's actually happening. Now in the executive summary, you can actually get a bit more clarity on that particular aspect. Say the world of global payments in 2020 will look unlike what it is today, right? So it will be largely unrecognizable. Why? Because key factors influencing these will be impact of technology, changing customer expectations, changing global demographics, shift in global trade flows, currency markets, and global impact of regulation. Now, the main areas for these will be global trade flows and currency markets. Now, before going deep into that, I'll actually connect that back into this one. Say, from this tweet from Finality International shows, DLT enables the creation of a new type of FMI. So that is distributed financial market infrastructure. So the financial market infrastructure and the fintech has something to do there with the blockchain and the DLT, distributed ledger technology. So when you come into the International Monetary Fund, there's the IMF's website, you can actually see this one: financial markets infrastructure and fintech. So if you read this, they actually give kind of advice. They kind of postulate this to them, like if you use these, you can actually solve these pain points. What are these? The self-assessment exercise actually gives, based on crucial principles, our legal basis, credit risks, collateral, default management, liquidity risk, central security depository, money settlements, general business risk. They actually solve a hell lot of things, right? So when we jump back into this document and come down, we can actually get the background about this. They're talking about large technology and social media companies coming into payments area, like Facebook, Amazon. If they are actually jumping in, the existing banking sector can be 100% disrupted. So regulations are to be there on place, right? So the market is already being reshaped by both traditional and new type of entrants. So these are non-bank competitors which are actually competing with banks. And here, as an example, they're giving you PayPal. Now, keep that in mind. These are for payments. Now, when we say payment, it is two, right? The payment messaging and the settlement. Now, you'll get the explanation for that as we go through these documents. You will get that clearly. Now, when we go down in the same document, there are some areas which you actually have to understand in depth, which is this: in addition to threats from social media and technology-based companies, which we read here, they also highlight Bitcoin here. At the same time, new electronic currencies such as Bitcoin offer payment options independent of government control. And they just highlight that there is a technology like this, which is also changing the entire landscape. And at the bottom here, they say, in fact, a significant threat is posed by large technology, media company, blah, 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 and their other non-payment offerings. So when you come down here, you'll get to read this. This is kind of the important point here. Okay, in addition to threats from social media and technology-based companies, banks also face growing competition from clearing and network solution providers whose business models are reshaping global markets, changing the way multi currency capabilities are delivered, and impacting the value proposition of traditional correspondent banking models. So, if you remember what we saw in this one, here back here, you can actually see long transaction chain due to the correspondent banking, and you actually have funding costs associated with it for the same reasons. Right? So, and when you jump back in, you get kind of an idea where they are leading you towards. Now, yes, if you search Ripple here, you can't actually find that. Instead, they are giving you these dynamics and parameters of that particular network. Now, if you do the same, say for example, search Ripple in this particular document, which is also showing that the trend in 2020 is changing. Global trends in the card and payments industry of 2020. So when you actually come down in this one, now, yes, don't get confused seeing Swift GPI here along with these payments stuffs. When you see all these, don't get confused, because I'll actually show you this table first. Say you have big tech companies and tech giants, fintech startups where you have Ripple there, and then Swift GPI is in the messaging networks. It's not in the settlement side. They can do the messaging, but they need the help of someone eligible to do the settlement of that transaction, whether it is the nostro vostro from the banks as of now, or someone who can provide liquidity and settlement as then and there on real time. So don't get confused on that one. So now reading this one, they actually go through different aspects of payment, and they say apart from the industry initiatives, traditional players and fintech startups also offer real-time payment service. Blockchain-based companies like Ripple are offering instant cross-border payment service. The company leverages its advanced blockchain technology, RippleNet, to reach trusted institutions across the globe. Now they also shows fintech startups like Sail, Interact, TransferFast, then Earthport and others. Now what we have to actually understand is, one, they are kind of recommending something for real-time payments adoption. Like there are some pain points, and you need to actually consider all of these things when you actually jump into the real-time solution. And the key take is they also give you the solution for that, right? So first, let's see actually what they are saying for the recommendations from their part, right? Real-time payments provide a platform, blah blah blah, that's the general thing. Then for institutions, the real value lies in leveraging opportunities to monetize real-time payment rails by developing overlay services. These include peer-to-peer payments, request to pay, payment aliases, confirmation of pay, liquidity management solution, and cross-border peer-to-peer payments. Open banking API will help unlock the value of real-time payments. So the immediacy factor in real-time payments and large volume of data generated requires scalable IT systems, processing and storage. Now what we read here, we have a lot of points which directly connect to what Ripple can offer. And then when we come down, you can also see this will be needed. Okay, this need will be amplified by open banking and indirect participation models, which you can see in RippleNet. And then cloud-based offerings can be considered by varying volumes, lower cost, greater availability, and compliance requirement. So recently we saw that how the cloud requirement or the cloud adoption from Ripple is changing. Now you can actually understand a lot more if you actually read through that. I'll actually put these documents in the further reading section in the description, so if you want, you can actually read through that. Now for the solutions part, they're actually highlighting when you come to the bottom, you can actually see that in the solution itself, they are highlighting this particular technology. You can actually use this to solve these pain points which we just described. So what is the solution, or how it actually looks like? With increased focus on alternatives to legacy correspondent banking system and the demand for real-time payment across borders, many fintech companies have come up with their own solutions. Now we actually saw other fintech companies too, right? They actually mentioned them. But wherever you go and look, you can actually see Swift GPI, which is the legacy system, and then Ripple in the cross-border space. They are not actually highlighting everything with everyone, right? Whereas everywhere when they have to use this, they're coming up with the name Ripple. Now there is an opportunity for banks to collaborate with fintech companies and leverage their platform and service offering to meet client cross-border payment needs. Now the solutions which they offer here, you can actually see when they actually If you read through that, you'll see many fintech companies have come up with their own solutions. Ripple provides a cross-border real-time payment network based on distributed ledger technology across more than 40 countries for banks to transfer funds across borders. Ripple recently crossed around 300 clients, which include banks, financial institutions, and payment providers. So you can actually see they also highlight after that Visa and IBM's stellar effort. So these are also other blockchain efforts which are in place trying to actually tackle this entire space, because this space is too huge for one single guy to handle. As we come down in the document, we can see that cryptocurrency wallets. So how the environment is changing when the new generation is coming up, they are actually kind of moving into these digital spaces instead of going into the brick and mortar banks. They're kind of using these. So when they talk about the millennials and Gen Z, you can actually understand how it is changing. Now, in the next document, which is a bit old, now these two documents are new. So what is happening here? Now, in the beginning of the video, I told you like what happened previously in 2017 before that huge bull market. That's what I'm going to show you here. These are documents from 2017 and early 2016, 2015. So that happened just before that bull run, and those milestones were kind of initial milestones. We are going to go and do this in next 10 years. Now here what we showed you now is like we are doing this now this year and then planning for next 5 years. So that is a major milestone in the initial setup schedule, right? So in that initial schedule, I'll show you through this and take you guys through that. If just by this initial schedule, we went 1400x, what's going to actually happen when we actually come across to this one and set or lay out next 5 years plan that this is going to happen in next 5 years? For me, I believe it's going to be a bomb dropping effect. It's going to actually blast through the roof, and the G20 will come up with regulations which may actually shatter many cryptocurrency investors because they are not in the right project, because it's not properly regulated and all stuff. Okay, anyway, without wasting further time, we'll actually go through this one. Now, when we actually go through this document of innovation in payments, now this is kind of a bit old, so we will have to actually get through those dates, because the dates and numbers which they are showing here will not be accurate for this date as we talk now. So now, the drivers of change and other things we actually talked previously, those are the market needs, the payments requirement and all. Now, the consumer and retail payments sector is one. Then, wholesale and corporate payment sector is one. So, we can actually consider those as, high value, low volume payments, high value, low frequency payments, or high frequency, low value payments. So, these are different requirements from the payment industry itself. So when we actually see this, you can actually see peer-to-peer business lending, how it goes, which takes out most in the amount. Then peer-to-peer consumer lending, invoice trading, equity crowdfunding. So you have a different category of how it is actually changing, and you have to actually look at the growth of that particular segment in the business. This is just between 2012 and 2014. This is the growth in that particular sector. So when you actually look at that, you can actually see equity crowdfunding has the most, and then it is in peer-to-peer business lending. So now when we actually come down, you can actually see new business solutions emerging, which is digital currency based solution. And you can see Ripple here. We'll jump into that, but before, we'll have to go through this. The impact and usage of digital currencies on wholesale payments have been far less noticeable than in retail payment sector. So again, the impact of usage of digital currencies on wholesale payments have been far less noticeable than in retail payment sector. So retail payment sector is having majority of that one, and when we go through that, you'll actually understand they're talking about small medium enterprises. Why? Now the question is because the frequency of payments or the number of payments is high. We actually went through that in the previous document showing 325,000 payments, right, per day. So how it is actually evolving. Then now I just have to refer back to that number. I think it's 325 million payments a year. Okay, anyway, you can actually view that in the old video. Now, when we actually jump into this one, we can actually understand why Ripple is aligning their direction towards that particular area or the market segment. Now, yet this is likely to change as cryptocurrencies become viewed less as store of value and more as means of reducing friction within the payment sources, because now they are looking at this aspect. Now, as I told, this is a bit old document, so their direction is like this, but still others may actually see cryptocurrencies or digital assets as store of value, because you can actually validate that just by looking BTC's value now compared to what the value was back in 2015, right? So the potential that Bitcoin's infrastructure, the blockchain, could hold for corporate and wholesale payment is becoming increasingly of interest. And when they talk about that, they're talking about the cryptographic security, how it provides that ability to transact from one ledger to another. Now, here they say, of course, Bitcoin was designed to enable the transfer of value through movement of Bitcoin alone. So blockchain does not currently support direct fiat currency transactions. So that is there, right? And when you come there, you are getting alternate cryptocurrencies or altcoins. Now they say Ripple, for example. Now Ripple, they are not saying it as a company. Instead, they are saying it as the cryptocurrency. Many just still understand Ripple as a company and XRP as an asset. Now, yes, XRP is Ripple. You have to actually understand that. XRP stands for Ripple. X is there to show that this asset is not issued by a government. It is issued it's not issued by a government. You can go see how silver is termed, or you can go see how gold is termed, like XAU. So here it's XRP. I've stated this previously. If you still, some newcomers still have issue understanding that one, so that's just anyway. Ripple, for example, is positioning itself as a layer on which remittance and currency exchanges can take place without the need of international settlements. An innately appealing solution. This concept could be even becoming a challenger to the role fulfilled by Swift. Today my tongue is kind of slipping on myself, right? Maybe I woke up too early to get through these documents, So do understand that, and sorry for that. Anyway, now when you actually see that, back in that date, they were actually saying this is going to be a challenger for Swift and SEPA, right? And back in that date, they're saying so far Feeder Bank, Cross River Bank, and CBW Bank has signed up to use Ripple for real-time settlement of cross-border money transfers. Now, when I say don't be fooled to the XRP community and precisely the scientific investor family, from back in those dates, you can actually see banks on this network using this technology for settlement itself, not the messaging, right? The settlement itself. So it has to be kept in mind, because many still says, no banks use this, no financial, the fraudsters actually come in and they try to push out, facts from the newbies. Those who are here, like me, say at least from 2 to 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, we are actually here from some time and we actually went through a lot of documents. We know the truth. So when the fraudsters come here and say something, we'll just kick them out, or we don't even mind them, right? Anyway, now moving in, we can actually also see a Bank of England discussion paper released. Now it's another recent development following this one, right? February 2015 envisioned cryptocurrencies as a new way of undertaking interbank settlement and enabling transaction. Now, we actually went through the Bank of England document as well. If you just look at yesterday's video, you'll understand that. Now, other innovations have seen provisions made for incorporation of smart contracts. We also saw that in yesterday's video. Now, when you say smart contract, just don't look at only the Ethereum network, because you can see, okay, smart contracts there, but think about smart contracts running on Interledger protocol and XRP ledger for its settlement. That's going to be huge, because the scalability and the lower fees and the regulatory compliance allow banks to actually jump into that bandwagon. Now I move to cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency transactions would represent a big change for traditional banks, with majority understandably adopting a wait and see or fast follower approach, reflecting the relatively unproven nature of the technology. Now that was back in that time, and that time this was the approach, and you can actually understand what is happening now, because Bank of International Settlements, IMF, World Bank, and others are actually highlighting this technology will be changing. Okay, so while fintech startups and technology providers wield huge influence, they currently lack the scale, experience, established client trust, and regulatory backing. This was stated back then. Now see, now you have 300 banking institutions just working with Ripple, one fintechs, and then a lot of financial institution who works with Ripple. Say for example, take Earthport. They work with Ripple, but they provide solution for other financial institutions who are not partnered already with Ripple. So that is the change which we are seeing. And as we move forward, you can actually see how banks are actually responding to this. Otherwise, as we say, their lunch, dinner, everything will be taken away from them. Now, this document from IDB actually shows you a bit more clarity in this area. Now, this is trade finance applications. When we talk about the trade finance, we actually go back and see this one from IMF, the financial markets infrastructure, and how the money will be changing in that particular aspect, right? So it's Standard Chartered Bank, DBS, and Infocom Development Authority of Singapore developed a POC for an invoicing trading platform using Ripple's distributed ledger technology. And platforms allows banks to convert invoices into digital assets. So if banks want to convert something into digital assets, banks are converting what? Their value into what? Another value, digital asset. So you need a bridge asset there, and they're using Ripple's distributed ledger technology. They're not saying Ripple's network or RippleNet. Instead, they are stating Ripple's distributed ledger technology. Now, the project is envisioned as an open ecosystem where third parties can participate and verify authenticity of the documents. Now, when you go to the bottom, you can actually understand they talk about R3 and how different banks are in this and how they are changing all these aspects. Now, they highlight Hyperledger and smart contract. And as we go down, you literally get the same. Now, if we actually go to the top, before that, they show the use cases and then they talk about the DLT itself. And for what? Collateral management. So they are actually looking at huge pool of money to actually use through this technology to actually understand this, because these are the advantages of the distributed ledger technology and the use cases. They are highlighting it here. Central securities depositories from Canada, Luxembourg, Norway, South Africa, they are all looking at this particular technology back in that time. And these actually pumped the price back then. Now, when you have all these improvements, now we are reaching another key milestones, then you'll actually have to understand how huge it will be this time. Now, this is another document showing you how things actually evolved back then. They actually talk about different areas. Now, they first talk about the global trade supply chain, and then they come to cross-border payments. So in the cross-border payments, you can actually understand even that time, this was the main area of concentration. And that's the reason why Ripple has always been focused on this one. You actually have to understand that. Now, yes, when you actually go through this, you will see a lot of problems which they are highlighting, like this was a problem, this is a problem. When you look at the cross-border solution, this is a problem. How you do the funds, how you keep the connectivity, how you deliver your value for money, everything is an issue. But to address some of these needs, banks are investigating new approaches such as distributed ledger technology. And what is that distributed ledger technology? Example, Ripple's blockchain, which might provide more speed at a lower cost. Now, it's not only about speed, it's also about the cost associated with that. And then the impact on commercial cross-border payments is believed to probably be in next 5 to 10 year time frame. So 5 to 10 year, that was back in 2017. So that they are looking at somewhere near 2023 to 2028, and could erode volumes through SWIFT. So what they are looking at in next 5 to 10 years, this is back in 2017. So keep that in mind. Could erode volumes through SWIFT. So it's not only one document saying that, it's different document from different reputed institutions saying this one. The longer time frame is likely due to legacy systems and the conservative nature of larger corporates. Potential changes need with ERP integration, and possible changes require many company policies. So changes are coming up. Now it's 2020, and what you just saw, it is actually changing and it's here. Now, if you don't believe that, you can actually neglect that, but still you will actually have to understand this after the bull run. Now, the choice is up to you. You can go through these documents like what we go through now of 2017 after a couple of years, or even after bull run, and say, oh, this is why the price actually pumped. Now, that's why we actually do fundamental analysis, and the scientific investor family gives these documents to others, right? I know you guys actually try to inform your friends, family, relatives, everyone about this, and if they don't believe you, you can actually give them these documents after the bull run, not now. Then say, this is the reason why I told you back then. You didn't listen to me, and that's it, right? That's cool. Now, we also have other aspects why this is going to be huge, because this one from Dan actually shows Reuters US June deficit, just 1 month deficit is 864 billion. So if you look at that, you'll understand worldwide central banks are printing a lot more fiats. Why they are doing that? They have to actually stabilize the economy from the current health crisis. So now the balance sheets of central banks are so huge, and they can't, if they have to control that, they have to do something, which is different from what they had previously. And they are coming up, the finance ministers from the G20 are actually coming up to actually do something. And in the video we actually saw, they are also looking at the central bank digital currency and pushing that thing out. If this is synthetic central bank digital currency, as we talked previously, it would really help the central banks to actually reduce that balance sheet or take that into a new form. I hope you guys actually understood this, and if you guys like the content or received value from the content, please do support the channel, hit that like button. If you are new here, please do hit that subscribe button, that helps the channel grow. I'll meet you guys on the next video. Bye for now.